That annoys me when I meet tattooers that are doing good, but their energy and their, approach to others, it's based on who they are or if they cool as them. I think that's bullshit, honestly. Like I like to be treated as everyone, and I like to treat everyone as everyone is, dude. Again, I don't think this is a thing to be cool. This is a thing that we love and we share, And unfortunately, I see that a lot of people just, yeah, not be able to manage the success and Instagram fame, which fuck is Instagram fame, dude. Whatever. It's way more deep than that. Yeah. Hi, my name is Imanol. I work at Voulez Vous. Eventually, it's my wife Ash put this shop together like 3 years ago now, and yeah, I'm working here, and you can find me here every day. I grew up in Argentina eventually, and I lived there till I was 20 years old. I'm 30 now, and I moved to Europe after 2 years of tattooing. That was in 2016. I started tattooing in 2014, and I moved to Europe 2016, and yeah, I spent 8 years in Europe actually. Oh, so I moved to Barcelona. The first time it was probably 9 months that I lived there. And then after that, things didn't. I was already tattooing, but things weren't like really good for me with tattooing at that time. So I decided to move to London, England, and I lived in London for around 5 years. And then after that, in the middle of pandemic, I moved back to Spain for another 2.5 years or something like that. So, yeah. A typical day for me at the shop. I like to normally have everything ready, like to designs and tattoos. I like to have an idea of what I'm doing. I wake up. I normally share with my wife some breakfast. We catch up some time. We catch up with some duties at the house. Then I come to the shop. I like to like have everything kind of ready. At least like an hour ago, I come before the appointment. Um, and then yeah, receive my client and try to full dedicate my attention to them and like expecting to have a good day. But that's how a day coming to work looks like. Normally, either ride my motorcycle, which is also cool to have a little bit of wind on the face for like 10 minutes before coming, and action. So yeah, normally sometimes we get like a carpool with Ash too and come together and yeah. That's a funny question. Before tattooing, I studied psychology for around a year. I finished school when I was 17 years old and I started tattooing when I was 18. So in that little gap in between 17 and 18, I start doing psychology for a little bit. It was a career that I was pretty interested in, and then deep down, I know that I didn't want to be a psychologist. To be honest, I just first thing you do when you finish the school is kind of mandatory and socially pressured, so you have to study. But I knew that I want to be a tattooer or do something regardless when I was around 15 years old. But it was like, back in that day in Argentina, it wasn't like a super open mentality. So when you were telling your parents that you want to be a tattooer, all the other people around, they were like looking at you like, oh, damn, like, are you ready to be a criminal? It wasn't like a good thing. It wasn't a cool thing to do in a way. So that's why I hesitated for a little while. And then I went home one day after uni and I looked at my mom and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna like I'm gonna stop studying this and I want to be a tattooer?
For lining, I use cubing, and then for shading, yeah. We could like try to work more better.
Ultimately, whatever you think is best, I can care less.
That's crazy. So digging in that cave. Yeah, right. They even take it a step further. They sometimes look.
It wraps. That's what I.
Yeah.
So nasty.
You want to put it on my thigh?
Oh my god, totally.
Like I am
You
still.
probably want to like.
If you want it here, it's still fine. I really.
You probably
don't
want
care.
to get something like.
Can you see this side again?
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah, you gotta break the habit by the time you're 6th grade for that.
Such a
Yeah,
shame.
no, really do that.
That would be a really cool sport.
You were talking about your life. And here you a skirmish here. I know. Just me. Where's the internet now?
No.
Oh yeah.
You kind of do it. Turn around a little bit.
TikTok me about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're getting it.
I mean,
It's so
all
cool.
of it
Smell
sounds
like.
very much one of like the world in class or it's in business class or exactly.
It's kind of stupid because it still leaves like not a crazy amount of space to do something there, you know. And if we put it here,
What if we put it here and just move it, and then I can get like a long tattoo between them?
like something more like that.
Yeah, 'cause at least this gap I can put like something substantial there. I don't know. Like you know more than me, bro. I'm just throwing ideas. Or even the opposite. Or no, it's probably better because that's flat. This kind of rounds a
Yeah,
bit.
that rounds too much. It's too hiding in there, you know.
Yeah.
So after that happened with my career in psychology, one day I came back home and I was like, I'm gonna start tattooing. And then I bought a kit, like a machine kit, from this guy that tattooed me twice before that happens. The first 2 tattoos I got, massive tattoos on my thighs. And then I got a tattoo machine that was terrible. And I started tattooing in pig skin, actually, like that I was getting on the meat shop and on my room. And then my mom, that's pretty epic. My mom came in one day and I was like on my room tattooing a pig, and she's like, okay, try on me now. And I gave her my first tattoo, and she was my first client ever, which I'm like always, stoked and proud of it and honored. And then I started tattooing friends. I was living with her by that time, so I set up kind of like a studio in my house. I was still 18 years old. And I started just tattooing a bunch of friends every day. I knew a lot of people around for, as I say, for the scene of BMX and like just for being a kid, So it was easy to have a bunch of clients in a way and friends that was like, oh, try on me. So that was pretty cool. That helps me a lot. And then I feel after maybe being 2 years doing that and just trying to do whatever comes to the door. Like I was like, hey, I want to get a mandala. Cool, I got you. I want to get a floral hyper. Like I got you. Like whatever, like trying to tattoo as much as I can. And then one day I went to get tattooed by this dude called Diego Moran, which nowadays is one of my best friends, and he was the best dude tattooing in town eventually. He still is. And he gave me a tattoo. I was super nervous. I was a kid. He was like probably 38 years old, 40s by that time. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna get tattooed by this guy. But he was actually really nice with me, which surprised me in a way. I wasn't expecting that. And then he was like, cool, when the tattoo is healed, just show up and show me. And then the next day, I ring his bell, and I was down there at the shop, and I never left, and I was just going every day. And then he looked at me one day, and he was like, hey, you come in a lot here. This is not cool. And then he was like, if you want to keep coming here, I was just literally just going to the shop and standing behind him and watching him tattooing for 4 or 5 hours and basically just trying to be focused on what can I do to make his life easier. Like, hey, do you want me to cut more papers for you? Hey, do you want me to put more water on the cap? Like stuff like that. And then, so then one day he was like, if you want to keep coming, you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to start cleaning the shop and cleaning the tubes and like stuff like that. So I found that super fair because eventually I was squeezing that poor guy head constantly and trying to find that information and fight for it. And I think that's one of the best things of tattooing. It's like you can actually meet really cool people and just learn. And it's the best, you know, it's awesome. So that was kind of like a apprenticeship, I will say. It didn't feel like an apprenticeship because I was already tattooing and I was, about to leave to Europe. So that was like 6 or 7 months before I left, actually. So it was a pretty short time, but he guided me a lot for sure, and he helped me a lot. And then before that, I have a couple of friends here and there that shows me some stuff or handle me a machine or like help me out a little bit with it. But the first steps, I did it by myself, like just scratching friends and like, dude, it was bad. Like tattooing at home without clue what I was doing and shading and lining, just using wrong machines, wrong needles. Yeah, my friends, I will be always grateful for those that let me, and give me a piece of leg or arm to practice. They. The funny fact is they still have those tattoos every time I go to Argentina, and they're proud of it, and they never cover it, and they loved it. So that's huge, That's pretty big. I've been tattooing for 12 years now. As I say, I started in Argentina 2014, and then I moved to Europe in 2016. And it was, as everything, it was like a growing up thing. I moved to Europe scared that things were not gonna work, but I think I hustled so hard and like just trying to find my people, my shop, I feel like I was really young, like I was probably 20, 21, and I was already really focused into it, and I wasn't going really out, and I wasn't like getting drunk and doing parties. I was just painting, dude, like painting at home, spending time, money in tattooing, buying books, traveling, going to getting tattoos by people I admire. Like, I feel that really helps me to set up a life where nowadays I'm happy and, stable in a way that I still consider myself young, but I still, like, I feel like a lot of things happen in the time frame that I was, like the first few years tattooing, because I was constantly moving and constantly like trying to get more and trying to like, just feed my ambitious in a way with that. And I feel like nowadays sometimes I see a lot of people starting tattooing and it's awesome, and I think tattooing has been changing a lot. And dude, it's just people getting it so quick, and it's so awesome to see how tattooing is changing. But I also see a lot of people, it's just like, social media and everything creates a lack of interaction in a way, and we don't have to hustle as hard as we did before when it was more human interaction instead of Instagram or social media or making a post. Before it was more about, hey, I'm gonna go meet this dude and grab a coffee, even if I'm terrified of it, or I have to go and like, knock the door of this person. You know what I mean? So I feel like, yeah, back in the day, I feel it was a little, well, back in the day, it's not 90s, 20s, but I think it was fun in a way. It was fun that we have to get out of our comfort zone all the time and just being intimidated, but still do it and send it. And I hope that the romanticism of tattooing and that looking constantly and that fighting doesn't fade completely in a way, you know. I feel like it's still a lot of people into this thing that shows every day that they still got it and they still like wants it, and I think that's awesome. Every time I meet someone that's been tattooing for a little bit and you have that, they have that passion that you can reflect yourself on back in the day. You know, it's like you see your own self when you were young and just like starting and just trying to learn every day, and it's awesome, dude. It's beautiful. Like the tattooing passion is just great, you know. So yeah, that's a little bit of it.
Did you do anything before you got into tattooing, or did you sort of just jump straight into it?
Well, apart from the psychology career, I work in a bar doing smoothies for like 2 weeks. I was terrible at it. So no, not really. Like, luckily, I never have to do anything apart from tattooing because you know when I start, I was living with my mom, so that money I was making tattooing was helping me to like don't ask her for money. So yeah, I would say no. I never really like have a solid work apart from tattooing. You know, yeah.
On your thigh?
Yeah,
But I feel on your thigh, maybe you want to get something bigger, right?
I was thinking about it, but I mean, like, I don't like.
Unless you're gonna do like pieces or
Yeah, I'll do like a big one here. I already kind of ruined this spot with this, so you want to put it here.
we can always put it inside there, but I feel like
Good. I want that thing to show. That thing is big. And there's that side too.
this leg is so tight, right? Yeah. Actually, let me see the back there.
What's it? Oh my god. So, the teacher I worked with, she was gonna go on maternity leave, so the stuff that we were gonna have came to like tour our school and visit our class and all this stuff. And like one of the boys in my class who was like totally never had issue with anything, was always well behaved, quiet, very sweet, not doesn't do weird stuff. Right? He's just a little behind in reading, so he's in our class. So apparently he like
Well,
he hit the black box when the teacher was like
let's do the best we can in there, you know?
Which one?
like yeah, like his black
Back?
box.
No, like
Oh, here?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it is true that like putting it
Oh yeah, no,
up
bark box.
here, it needs a lot of room. Which eventually, if we get more tattoos, it should be alright. But
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me, dude.
I can also do what you say, that just tucking it down that way.
What if you even did like that? Just an idea. You could put leaves that go up like that, like some white laurel, and then off. It's too much.
It's just gonna take too much attention from the
Yeah,
hair.
from the girl, yeah.
I have a lot of inspirations down the line. I feel, of course, like all the old heads tattooing, you know, that a lot of them are dead, and classic traditional, you know, for sure. I would say like they daily, my wife 100%, she's a hustler and she just sends us so much, and it's awesome to see her growing and see her like learning every day, and the love and the dedication she puts into all the people I work with. Is awesome also to see them every day and growing, and you know they just make you a better person. And I feel tattooing is not only tattoos, you know, it's a lot of facts and things that are apart from tattooing that are super worth it. In terms of like tattoo inspiration, dude, so many friends. I was lucky enough to share years with most of them, and names are a bunch. I would say all the guys from Chica Pantera now, which is a shop in Barcelona that before we used to work all together. Rafa de Cranio, Mickey Mikes, Peli, Grimm, Tommy. It's awesome because they are all my friends apart from tattooing, and at some point we did have a tattoo shop that was awesome together, and it was awesome to work with these guys, which, you know, it's just amazing artists, amazing people, and I felt like that was probably when I learned the most in my career, when I have the honor to work with them. which I still do sometimes. You know, they sometimes comes here or you know, tattoo. We going back there actually in September to Spain to do some tattoos and conventions. So a dude that really inspired me a lot and really showed me like the same thing I felt with that guy that guided me back in the day in Argentina, Diego Moran is his name. Uh, that connection that ends up being a friendship that is huge, dude. It's not about tattooing. It becomes something that is so solid. It's kind of like a dad figure, you know, in a way. I felt that again with a dude called Cheyenne Sawyer that is in Oregon. When I moved to Oregon, dude, I was nothing, nobody, and randomly we end up meeting. I knew who he was for sure, but I never met him before, and he completely trusts me. He handed me the keys of a shop, and he was like, "Okay, do you want to work here? Here we go. Just don't show up late and don't be hungover." And having him around, which unfortunately I don't have him around every day as I would love to, but like I still go there regularly, so I still see him and talk to him every week, and we still pretty close. It's crazy because he is one of those dudes that will on his day off every day, but in his days off, he's like 52 years old and a dad of two amazing girls, and he will go to the shop and be in the basement painting and listening music, and that's what he wants to do, and he is still so on it and enjoys it so much that I'm like, damn, dude, this is so cool. The fact that you've been doing it for 30 years, 30 plus, and still enjoy it as the first day. So he is definitely somebody that, taught me a lot on how to be a better person, how to be a better tattooer artist, and it's just awesome to share knowledge with him, and it's awesome to have him around. And yeah, he becomes someone really important in my life since I'm in this country. Um, I'm forever grateful for that and him, because that's probably one of the things that I enjoy the most in tattooing is when you really can meet somebody that opens your eyes in all the aspects of life. It's not just tattooing, but it's become family. I would say Barra Madrid, it's a legend in Madrid eventually. He's Argentinian. When I was a kid, when I moved to Europe, my plane went to Madrid, and the first thing I did when I get out of the plane, I went to Barra's shop and I handed him an original painting. And my legs were shaking, dude, when I saw that dude. I used to see his videos on YouTube before tattooing at home when I was a kid just to hype me up. And I went there, and it was meeting your idol, and he was so nice with me, and he was like such a cool dude. And Barra always, I feel like Barra is the referent and the dude for most of the people I know, at least in Europe, So I feel like most of my friends and, we always like look at him and look at his work and admire him because he's a dude like Cheyenne that is still hustling, still like going hard, still, And the good thing about Barra is that of all the people that knows him, is that he never forgot who he is and where he came from. He's a dude that it's one of the best tattooers, of those days, and he will treat you exactly the same as everyone. Like no difference, no ego, no nothing, dude. And it's like it's such a simple dude that grew up in a working class area in Argentina, and I think that's huge, after all those years of hustling. And fame make people stupid in a way. And even if this is not about fame and stuff, it's like you get to meet a lot of people that's been successful for a while or like down the line and they become assholes. So I really respect when people has that success and they never forget where they come from. I think that's awesome. So I would say, yeah, apart from all that people that I name, he's definitely one dude that is always been in my mind and always, own him a lot in terms of like inspiration. He tattooed my hands eventually. We did this one. This one was in 2016 in London Tattoo Convention, and then this one was in 2020 maybe when I did a guest spot at his shop in Madrid. Um, so yeah, um, I would say I would say that, but it's like a lot of tattooers nowadays are doing a great job, and a lot of people that it's like just killing it, and it's so big the list of people that inspire me every day. Ivan from Austin to I don't know, I can't even tell how many people like you'll see that inspire you, and I think it's so cool always to share and make them your friends and like it's awesome. It's awesome when you admire them as an artist, but then you admire them as a people also as a person because they become your friend or like they treat you good or they are good people. That's pretty cool, So yeah. I will say I do European traditional. The reason I say European is because it is a difference in between American traditional and European. Personally, I think that um, I feel like European is a little more refined in a way and a little more pretty. Let's call it that way. American traditional is pretty too, but it's just like a different kind of like beauty. And as I had that school kind of like, and I spent a long time there, that's kind of where I formed my path and I give shape to my work. I definitely feel that my work took that path. Nowadays, I feel I'm changing a lot. My style, I feel like a lot of people notice that, and especially my clients always tell me that. Um, I feel like it's really depends where you at, the place you live, and the people you surround yourself for, and your mind. Even it change what you express. I feel tattooing, even if it's like in a style that you want to create or like you want to keep doing or like the traditional or whatever, I feel like it's always gets affected in a good way by who you are, but what's your thoughts, but what do you think every day, but how's your life is surrounded by, because it is at the end of the day what do you want to, it's like writing, like if you're sad you're probably going to write something sad, if you're happy you're going to write something happy. This is the same thing. If you see a bunch of, I don't know, if you're from Los Angeles, for example, and then, of course, if you do fine line, you might, have seen more stuff like similar to that or like from that route than a dude that lives, I don't know, in Korea. You know what I mean? They both can do it great, but like it's important also to be in a place that has a bunch of that. So Italy, Spain, UK has a lot of European traditional, and it's kind of where it come from, UK, Denmark, all that stuff. So yeah, that's definitely I would say my style. I feel like dude, I'm still like learning and I'm trying to learn every day, and I still have a long way ahead. And I feel like nowadays I like something more folk and more graphic probably, and like a little more um, ugly in a way, Um, I just enjoy that, but I feel like it's important to try do all the stuff, like not try to do all the stuff. Like I'm saying, you have to. You if you want to do something ugly looking or like graphic, you can do that and starting from that. eventually I think you have to do something beautiful and then break it to the point that it's ugly or folky or whatever you want to call it. And I think you have to keep trying things always. And that's something that Rafa, for example, always mentioned when we used to work together. He's a dude that is so flexible and he can just like use colors and no one have the balls to pull up and just, do things that no one's tried. And he tried it just because that's the only way to find out. He's not scared to it, and that helps me out a lot too. I feel like tattooing, really need to risk sometimes and try different things, because even if you found something where you're good at or you feel comfortable with, if you keep doing the same thing, dude, it's gonna be boring as shit. You know what I mean? So you have to like eventually be able to change your style and be able to like try different techniques and try different things, and then maybe if you don't like it, you can always come back to it. These last few months I was concerned about it. I was like, damn, like I'm changing my style, and sometimes I look at myself from like 2 4 years ago and I'm like, oh, I really like what I was doing before, and now it's completely different. But you can go against that. You have to keep going because it's part of a process, and I think that's what's really important. It's like keep trying. Like if you find something that you like and a line that you like, go on that line, but also experiment a little bit, because that's the best part of it. That's honestly the fun part of it. So yeah.
It's just like a way to protect yourself,
Yeah, I feel that. My stencils can get pretty messy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that was my thing.
What is your worst spot you've gotten tattooed?
Yep.
You have your back now? Yeah. And stomach just still hurts?
Back is really bad.
Yeah.
Hanging up.
What do you have on your back?
I have cold water, Japanese. Oh, just wait. Oh my god. It's cool. It's not done, unfortunately.
That's so much saturation. Who's doing it?
A friend of mine that we used to like work together in
Oh, I think I'll pull your arm off.
like near like mom. I don't know if you ever
What was the first name?
check it out. Yeah. Nero. It's like
So
DALMIRO.
we're working with. You think you want to do a gloss over? Or you think you want something that'll fit as much over it as possible?
Yeah.
I'm not
Fucking sick.
I feel like favorite thing about tattooing, it's definitely the interaction with clients. I think it's awesome that you can put something on somebody's skin and people will forever be grateful, and you can give them a lot of feelings sometimes. I think we don't really realize sometimes how much can we change somebody's confidence or body, or stuff like that, where people, it's like, damn, now I'm hype and I like how I look because of you, in a way. And then the fact that someone come to the door and ask for something that is yours and it came out of your brain, it's crazy to me, and that it's insane. Like that's really good, and it's something that as a tattooer I will always be grateful for. My clients are awesome, dude, and I always be grateful for people that let me do what I love, because it's something that I enjoy so much to do, and it's like people come and it's like, do whatever you want, or like, I don't care how you're gonna draw this idea, I trust you. That it's insane, and that's huge thing. So that's something that I really enjoy about it, the interaction with clients. Another thing I enjoy is the trips. Dude, traveling is so important. It's so big. You have to do it. it's crazy how much tattooing can take you to different countries, different place, always give you a sofa to crash, always give you, it gives you so many things. And it's, if you give to tattooing, tattooing gives you back. So that's definitely one thing that I love. Everything I have in my life, which is not much, but a really good life, it's because tattooing. I travel a lot before, and I've been in a lot of countries tattooing and a lot of cities just because the fact of tattooing. And people open me doors of houses and shops just because the fact that I'm another tattooer that is trying to do it good. And that's awesome, dude. It's something that connects us so much. And I think that's really important and really good. And we have to keep that ball rolling in a way. So yeah, that's the meeting people part, and the friends that you make on the road, the places that you visit, and the clients are definitely my favorite part of it. And it's also something that you tattooing catch you in the best time of your life and in the bad times of your life. And every time I've been down, or I've been like stressed, or life wasn't great, I grab a brush or I grab a pencil, dude, and I was happy. For that amount of time, it was my bubble. It's safe. Tattooing can save your life in a way. And it's something that you always go back to it, like I have a day off or I have a time and I sit and paint because I want to do it. Not as much as before, of course, depends how busy you are, but like it's where you find your peace, in a way. You put like a good record that you like, or a good song that you like, or a good album, and you just fly and lose, conscience of time, and just paint and draw for hours. And I think having something to look forward every day and to create and make you connect with your own self, with your inner self, I think it's so privileged. I think like a lot of people don't have that. Like most of people go to work, and then when they off, they just don't have anything to do till the next day, which I don't know how it feels. Maybe it feels awesome, but I feel like I love what I do, and I feel like it's always good to make my lifestyle my work in a way. So I will say, yeah, that's what I enjoy about tattooing. It's freedom. It's freedom. It's not about being cool. It's not about being rich, make money, and have a luxury life. It's about give people what they want, be respectful, do something with passion, and just enjoying it. You know what I mean? And treat people well. I think like nowadays, a lot of like the main things of tattooing are, like change in a way, or like people think tattooing is being a cool dude and like, like being a rock star, and it's not, dude. It's a working class job that destroy your body, and you really feel it on your back, and it's a working class thing. It's not a being cool thing, and like no. So yeah, that's what I will say. I don't have a favorite thing to tattoo anymore. I think before it used to be lady heads. I love lady heads, but I try to enjoy it, most of the things that I tattoo. I feel like I do a lot of black and gray, even if I always do color, and that's kind of where I feel more comfortable. People ask me a lot to do black and gray, and I think it's great because nowadays push me out of my comfort zone, that I'm trying to be my best version at both. So I really enjoy do black and gray, and I really enjoy do colors, and I think that's pretty cool. to also be flexible with yourself, to not only focus on one thing or like, oh, I just do colors, I just do black. Be able to do whatever, you know. In terms of design, I don't really have any like a specific thing. I've been really attracted lately by Christian stuff. I'm not Christian. I don't believe in God. I respect it, but it's not personally what I believe. But all the image from the church, like Jesus and Sacred Hearts and like stuff like that, I don't know why, but it's always took my attention. I went to a Catholic school growing up, so maybe that's why, you know, they made me go to church and stuff like that. So I've seen that since I'm a kid. And Argentina, it's pretty Catholic, you know. Down there, people believes a lot. Which, dude, be my guest. Everyone can believe whatever they want, you know. I'm not no one to judge. But yeah, I definitely been like lately really immersed on all of that, the church images and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I constantly changing too. Like some months I enjoy to do eagles, some months I enjoy the most to do a snake, some months I do uh, whatever people ask me. I feel like I normally do custom tattoos. Like people bring me their idea or like they have a reference somewhere and whatever. But I don't really get to do many flash. Never was like that. I would love to do more flash, but I honestly never had the time to draw a bunch of flash because my whole career was mostly custom. So when people ask me for flash, I always feel embarrassed because I have like 10 designs available. And I'm like, this is what I have to offer you, but like I can also draw whatever you want, you know, just give me some options. But I was thinking eventually to at some point do mostly flash, you know, like I would say only flash because that's has to be really hard, but like definitely like try to go on the line of do mostly flash, you know, have like a tons of designs available and just do more flash than custom. I don't have a preference. I also love when people will say, "Hey, dude, like, can you make a memory tattoo for my dog that just passed away or stuff like that?" I think that's awesome. I always like the challenge, and I always like when I can bring something to people that is really meaningful. That always made me feel really good. Um, so yeah, I don't have a preference. I try to enjoy equally whatever it's on the game. Luckily enough, nowadays I don't have to do other styles that before I used to. Like, you know, I would say I would say like I'm able to do and live out of my own pieces after I moved to America. Before America, I was never able to live out of traditional. I was always doing walk-ins, a bunch of scripts, a bunch of like small tattoos, which are awesome and super fun and super necessary to learn how to do them and do them right. I don't mind to do them, but nowadays I'm busy enough with my stuff that I don't have to, you know, relay on them or like needs them, you know, which is awesome as well. Favorite pieces that I done? I did a back piece on this guy called Will from San Francisco that becomes a friend. Will is awesome. He let me do a back piece on him, and that was a really fun project. I enjoy it a lot. I'm happy how it came out. Um, that was a really fun piece I did. Oh, the back piece was it's called Battle Royale, which is basically like a fight in between a dragon, eagle, and a snake. So the back piece was a battle royale, and yeah, we did it kind of fast. It took us 6 sessions because Will was coming from San Francisco eventually. So every session, he used to come here, and we used to do like 3 4 hours tattooing. And it was good because he actually like really, you know, big projects are, I feel, requires a lot of commitment from the tattooer and from the person that is also getting it because it's painful. it's a big ass project, but you have to come back. That's something that it is what it is. So, and Will was like super determined with it, and he got it really seriously, and he was every month here. That was at another shop that I was working at that time in Fullerton called Roseland, which it was pretty cool experience also to work there. Alvin's great, and it was a good opportunity. So yeah. The most meaningful tattoos I did was definitely on my dad and my mom, for sure. They end up getting like, my dad came to get tattooed with his homies while I was in Argentina, and they got like all fan tattoos, and that was so sick. And my mom got my first tattoo, dude. That's huge, you know. They always been like such a huge inspiration. Coming back to a previous question that you asked me, my parents, dude, like nothing to say about it. Great job, great people. They always been like really good inspiration, and just, you know, always hype me up. Like my parents, dude, I posted a tattoo, and the first big like that I have is my dad and my mom, and they always like super proud and follow me every step. So that's awesome. But no, I don't have any piece that I done that I would say, oh, that's my favorite piece. I don't know. I have some that I like most. I have some that I don't like it too much. But nothing comes to my mind, to be honest.
What was the first one you did for your mom? What was that?
The first one was like a tiny heart, actually, like nothing crazy, just like a tiny little heart on her ankle. And that thing right now is blown up, dude. Like the lines, I think I was using like, I don't know, maybe like a three-liner. Why? I don't know, because I was learning, so I don't know why I was using a three-liner, but it was what I got. And the heart, it's like super tiny, and it's still there, pretty blown, but it's still there. So yeah, that was it. Then she ended up getting a traditional rose, a butterfly, a cupid, like a bunch of stuff, you know. But yeah, that was the first one. Favorite tattoos. I like a lot of these Jesus. This is from Alberto Triguero. He's a guy in Spain that also, it was such a cool thing to meet him on the road. I met him when I was super young, and he was working in a really cool shop, and yeah, it was an inspiration at that time. And I got tattooed by him. I bring him a painting. He was like, dude, I trade for your painting. You are super nice. And this dude is also an inspiration. I feel always been. I don't have a favorite tattoo, honestly. Like, I don't. I try to have tattoos from my friends, like most of my friends, you know, and like getting on the road, and like I honestly try to get tattooed by people that mark me somehow, you know. Not only because I like what they do or necessarily have to like what they do, but like mostly for who they are or who they were with me, you know. Like if it's someone that I had a good chat or opened the door for me or like treat me well or make me feel like home, I would love to get a tattoo, you know. I feel like nowadays I don't have much space left. All the space I have is kind of like tricky and really painful. So I'm pretty happy where I'm at with like how many tattoos I have. I still have some spots that I'm saving for certain people I want to get tattooed that I never did. But yeah, the rhythm of getting tattoo is definitely really slow for me right now. Like I used to get a lot, but now I'm like go to a point where I'm like, it's cool. Like if it's the right time and the right, you know, I get it, but not too much anymore, you know. I should go back though, but I don't know.
I guess, you know, one of them, whenever he was like talking about my drawings, he would turn off all like the fucking around, and he'd be like, what you did here is incorrect, but I would do this because that's what happens here. But the other one would critique it based on like, no, just draw like this. This is how we draw that. And then I'm like, but I don't want to draw that. Like, you know, like, but I know, I think a big thing which I understand now is like fundamentals. And, you know, when I went to them, right, my portfolio already looked like European. You know, I was using a lot of black, and using muted colors, whatever. So So I was
But
already
before doing your apprentice, you were like drawing on the com or shit like that? Or?
yeah. I was already painted.
Now that's by yourself.
Yeah, I taught myself how to spit shade, all that. Like, I was trying to learn all of that stuff and build like a brand already without even knowing what I'm doing.
I feel like, I mean, tattooing itself, it's, I feel like before things were a little more radical in a way, which I don't, not necessarily has to be a good thing. Like I feel nowadays it's the way of expression and art in general becomes a thing where everything is valid. Like no matter what you do, if it's your thing and you expressing yourself is valid. Which yes, but also sometimes I don't know, I don't see it like that. I feel like tattooing in some ways it's for me it has to have some sort of rules in a way, you know what I mean, or like what I consider a tattoo, a real tattoo, let's say. But that's also a personal thought, like it's a personal mindset. I don't think it has to be that way. I think that's what I think. I try to respect whatever people put out there, because at the end of the day, it's cool. Yeah, if makes them happy, why not? But what I personally think is a good tattoo or is tattooable, it's not everything, honestly. Um, I think social media helps a lot, most of us, because shoot, nowadays we like booking through Instagram, and Instagram becomes such a thing. Also can confuse people because sometimes you have people that has a lot of followers on Instagram and their work is not good, and people that has not good skills on internet and their work is amazing and they don't have followers. And I think it's super unfair that it's a lot of people like that I know that have been tattooing for 20, 25, 30 years that are awesome and really good tattooers and been providing to tattoo a long ass time, but just because they don't know how to use the social media, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the age to deal with it, or they don't want to deal with it, they just have less and less and less business. I think that's really unfair. But hey, everything is unfair in this life, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of things that we can't control, unfortunately. But that sucks. Um, yeah, I would say social media definitely helps, but like also creates such a difference, dude. I feel like I don't know. It's easier in a lot of ways to like come up with something or like introduce yourself out there, while before it used to be a thing, because maybe like before you have to go to a shop and knock on the door, and like in London when I was living there, so many times I have to get like find a new job, and I just go with like a book with my tattoo photos and be like, hey, I'm Imanol, this is what I do, and I stand like that in front of the desk, and like sometimes people were looking at me like, get the fuck out of here, you know what I mean? I feel like that doesn't happen anymore. People now send you a message and it's like, hey, can I do a guest spot at the shop? Or like, hey, like, what red do you use? Like, what needle do you use? And it's like, before you have to go get tattooed with that person, give him or give her money, and like insist and like show that you really want to get a little bit of information, honestly. At least that's how it was for me. I don't know, in my country, that how it was, like I felt that I went to get tattooed by this dude Diego, and I barely want to mention that I was a tattooer. I was super scared, and then when I did, it wasn't like he wasn't give me like all the information at once. I have to like clean and do shit, own it. You know what I mean? Um, so that definitely changed, and I think it is still a lot of people that has this more, few years old, like 10 years old values, where it's like comes to you and be like, hey, I really like your shop, I want to get tattooed by you, and it's more respectful in that way. And I think that's awesome. And I love to see young people like or young tattooers that just start being that way. In fact, we have a girl at the shop that works with us that she's been tattooing for not a long time, and she has that mentality, and it's amazing, dude. It's so cool to see her like drawing by hand, getting tattooed respectfully, trying to hustling, like ask enough but not too much. You know, it's cool. Um, I personally don't like when people it's just like taking it for granted. Like, hey, like what needle you use like out of blue? Like, no, dude, it's not how it works. I don't mind to share it with you, but show me that you really want it. Like, show me that you know, like show me that you doing something for it, dude. You know, you don't have to like do anything to me, but show me that you're really into it. You know what I mean? I feel that change. I don't see as much passion as I see before back in the day where it was harder. Dude, I'm saying back in the day, about 10, 15 years ago, but people that were tattooing for 20 plus, even more. You know, the guy that guided me, like my mentor, was like, when he started tattooing, was two tattooers in the whole city, and they hate each other. And you know, like asking for something was like probably receiving a fucking shoe on your leg or something. You know, it was like people don't like the fact that you were doing the same of them, which I'm not agree with that. I think it's cool. I'm not like this thing of like keep tattooing, like keep tattooing like the gay clothes or something like that. Whatever. Um, I get where it's coming from. I think people get it wrong. It's not about the people that's been tattooing for a while don't respecting the young generation. It's not about that. It's that they want to see that you really want it. And if I have to be honest, I love when a young generation tattooer come and I see that they have that passion. I don't see it too often, unfortunately, because all those things, everything is like so everything evaporates so quick nowadays. You know, we live in a social media era where everything is like disposable, dude. Everything like relations, people, friendships, everything. It's like it's no much soul on it, which it sucks. And I think tattooing definitely reflects on that. You know, it needs to be a human thing, that you have to knock a door, get tattooed by somebody, and slowly introduce yourself to that person, Um, tattoo schools and all that stuff, is what the heck, Tattoo schools, my balls, it's not, no, it's not how it should be, at least, hey, personal, but no, I don't, I think it needs more sauce than that.
Oh yeah, are you on fork now?
I guess if his friends are super into that, then he have it so much.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like, oh,
Are you hungry?
Yeah. Man, that sounds so fun.
yeah, I'm just like, you know, knocked out.
I know. I'm like, oh, we forgot to ask you
Anything that bothers me. It bothers me. Um, it bothers me when people don't make you feel valued, or don't make you feel your art valuable in a way, or like they just take it like, like I don't know. For me, for example, when someone comes to get tattooed by me, I always try to get closer to them in a way. Like, of course, like if I feel like that person doesn't want to chat, I'm not gonna be like annoying and chat all day. But I always try to get to know them, right? Sometimes it doesn't happen nowadays because, as I say, I do mostly my pieces, But when I used to work in a street shops and do a bunch of walking, I remember like people walking in, don't say a fucking word to you, just getting tattooed, pay you and leave. And I'm like, damn, dude, like that's so. It's nothing there, It's like I'm not a machine that does tattoos. I'm a human, and I'm tattooing you forever. I think it has to be way more special than that, Personally, I don't know. I think it has to be way more special than that. So I like, what I don't like is when people make it such a service. Like, oh yeah, I just get tattooed by this dude, pay him, that's it, gone. You know? No, dude. Like it can be a way better time than that and a fun time than that. What else bothers me? It bothers me when people feels like they do something right, like tattooing, and they are good at it, and they act like that. I think that sucks. Like I feel like the moment that you start treating people different just because you're good at something, whatever you do, no matter like, you know, whatever you do, like not only in tattooing, that it's, I feel like you should go back again and start again, dude. Like if being good at something doesn't make you more humble, it's because it's something about it that you're not getting it. Like it's the same with traveling. If you're traveling and you become more an asshole instead of like an open-minded, take that plane back again and do it again, because it's like, dude, what, it's something that you're not getting it. So that annoys me when I meet tattooers that are doing good, but their energy and their approach to others, it's based on who they are or if they cool as them. I think that's bullshit, honestly. Like I like to be treated as everyone, and I like to treat everyone as everyone is, dude. Again, I don't think this is a thing to be cool. This is a thing that we love and we share, and unfortunately I see that a lot of people just not be able to manage the success and Instagram fame, which fuck is Instagram fame, dude, whatever. It's way more deep than that, yeah.
Did you go to like other shops too, or was that like the one and only?
It was the one and only.
Wow, that's impressive.
Thank you.
How big your book was.
Thank you.
So good. So you had it in mind for like, did you start
Yeah, that's
tattooing
all
before
pretty
it all
much.
you got?
No. I heard like it's like
flower.
frowned upon, like people build like bad habits, or
Yeah.
they were supposed to like not even like see, like not even watch videos that had anything to do with it. So that way I was just going.
For sure.
But I feel like it taught me well, like.
For sure they did. I mean, you took it from wherever they left you, but like.
Yeah, I got like the technical stuff from my degree.
What would you say to like a potential client?
I'm not a weirdo, so it's cool. You can trust me. I'm a nice dude. I feel like honestly, I feel like it's hard for me to put myself out there too much. I'm kind of cat in the internet, I will say. Like I'm not super nice to in internet. I'm pretty like short, but I feel I'm pretty easygoing in person. Yeah, I mean, I'm not booked up. Also, like I'm booking probably like now I'm booking May, which is not too far away. So yeah, I will say don't be afraid to ask me anything. I'm also a human. I also have feelings. I'm not a robot. Please be educated and be like, hey, good morning or good afternoon. Can I ask you? Or like, because I hate when people say how much for a sleeve, or like, no, dude, I'm not a fucking robot. It's just like treat me as as you want to be treated. Yeah, that's it. I love when people show interest, and I love to work with any idea. So I feel like whatever people has on mind, I'm super down, I'm super happy to take it. Yeah, nothing can be wrong, I always thought that it is a lot of interesting people out there that never gets to be interviewed, But a lot of people only interviews like legends, which is fun. But there's also a lot of tattooers that are really fun to interview.